Jagadambe Mata Ki Jai, Ganga Mata Ki Jai, Har Har Mahadev.
Maiya, He Ganga Maiya, Maiya, He Ganga Maiya.
Bolo Maiya, He Ganga Maiya, Maiya, He Ganga Maiya.
Maiya, He Ganga Maiya, Maiya, He Ganga Maiya.
Maiya, He Ganga Maiya, Maiya, He Ganga Maiya.
मांगेला हम वरदाने है गंगा मैया, मांगेला हम वरदाने,
मांगेला हम वरदानी है गंगा मैया, मांगेला हम वरदानी,
मांगेला हम वरदाने।
मैया हे गंगा मैया, मैया हे गंगा मैया, मैया हे गंगा मैया, मैया हे गंगा मैया।
मांगेला हम वरदाने है गंगा मैया, मांगेला हम वरदाने,
मांगेला हम वरदानी है गंगा मैया, मांगेला हम वरदानी,
मांगेला हम वरदाने।
बोलो मैया हे गंगा मैया, 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 मैया हे गंगा मैया। बोलिए गंगा माता की जय, हर हर महादेव. Namaskar everyone and welcome to the Hindu Prachaar Kendra's Sunday morning Satsang. We are live every Sunday morning right here at our Sri Ram Vijay Mandir located at Jalibia Trace, Raghunanan Road in Enterprise Central, Trinidad. And it's always a pleasure to have all of you join us. It's so wonderful to be together in Satsang, whether you are here in person or you are joining us virtually. And I'm reminding you right away, if you have not shared our Satsang links, please do so now so that many others can be with us in Satsang. Well, we have been having a lot of rain, and this morning it was very rainy as well. Now there's a little sunshine. So it seems as though the cosmos is reminding us that Ganga Dashahara, Ganga Dhaaraa is almost here. It's just a few days away, 4 days actually, on Thursday. So this morning, Satsang is all about this most auspicious occasion, Ganga Dashahara, which we call Ganga Dhaaraa, here in Trinidad. And when I shared the Satsang flyer, I got a couple messages. Geeta ji, we'll be wearing our yellow clothing and joining you all. And I was so happy that persons remembered to wear yellow. But Shami said he forgot the memo. So he's in his bright blue, but then we need the color of Bhagwan Shankar to be with us. So wonderful. So we are brightening up your screens this morning with our yellow, and hopefully we'll bring very empowering vibrations of Gangadhara to all of you. Now we have missed 2 years of Gangadhara because of the pandemic, and at the end of Satsang, I will let you know what's the plan for this year's Gangadhara, because we still have to be very careful. COVID-19 is still lurking all around. So there's a lot to share and to learn about Gangadhara. all of which we can't do today because it's really quite a lot. So what I'll do is to focus on a few important ideas.
या बराती
Everything that we are doing, it's to help us to keep a most wonderful, uplifting bhav in life. And actually this phrase, this motto, this mantra, it started at Ganga Dhaaraa because along the river bank, we'd always have these signs, keep the bhav, keep the mood. And Ganga Dhaaraa, actually, one of the most important instructions given for this occasion is bhavo tato hritakam. For successful Tirat, we have to voluntarily accept the prescribed rules, honor a personal vow, and gather in our hearts full faith and devotion. That is what keeping the bhav is about. Bhavo tato hritakam. So our first offering this morning, we are dedicating it to our Jahaji Bhayo or Behenu joining us from South Africa and other diaspora countries, even other foreigners. But we pray Ganga Mata's blessing on all of you there who are working on Girmiti and Jahaji initiatives and collaborations to bring the Jahaji diaspora closer together. So thank you for joining us, all of you there in South Africa and other places as well. So this local Ganga Dhaaraa song was composed by Raviji. And it is called Lovely Ganga Dhaaraa because everything about Ganga Dhaaraa is very lovely. It describes the beauty of Ganga Dhaaraa and all the different ghats, the different stations that are set up, as well as the various activities that take place on the day. There's a Trinadishwar Mahadev Baba Lingam in the small natural cave where Abhishek is done, Tulsi Ghat where we have it's like the hub, the center where many activities take place, awards, discourse, Ganga Puja, Ardhanadishwar Ghat for blessing the married couples, Mundan Sanskar for the children to have, the hair shavan, so families get involved in that, Hanuman Ghat, where there's worship of Hanuman Baba, and then there's the Visarjan, where we have the Aarti boats and the buttercups being offered. So all of these different activities, all of these different pujas and ceremonies that take place on the day of Ganga Dhaaraa, it is celebrated in this song, Lovely Ganga Dhaaraa. And the lyrics will come up on screen so that you can follow us. Boliye Ganga Mata ki Jai, Jai Har Gange.
Lovely Ganga Dhaaraa, my Ganga Dhaaraa.
Lovely Ganga Dhaaraa, my Ganga Dhaaraa.
प्यारी गंगा धारा तेरी ही सहारा,
प्यारी गंगा धारा तेरी ही सहारा।
चीरे अति प्यारा नीरे अति न्यारा,
नीरे अति प्यारा नीरे अति न्यारा,
चीरे अति प्यारा नीरे अति न्यारा।
लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा, लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा।
त्रिनिनाद ईश्वर महादेव बाबा,
त्रिनिनाद ईश्वर महादेव बाबा।
फल फूल लाए भक्तन सारा,
फल फूल लाए भक्तन सारा। लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा, लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा।
तुलसीदास घाटवा फो गंगा पूजा,
तुलसीदास घाटवा फो गंगा पूजा।
बतासा लाए भक्तन सारा,
बतासा लाए भक्तन सारा। लवली गंगा धारा जोरा
प्यारा जोरा लाया आशीष तोरा
प्यारा जोरा लाया आशीष तोरा लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा
मुंडन की संस्कार घाट व मनोहर
मुंडन की संस्कार घाट व मनोहर
बच्चे बच्चे लाइन अप सीधे चुड़की पंतप
बच्चे बच्चे लाइन अप सीधे चुड़की पंतप लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा
हनुमान घाटवा श्री राम की आशीष
हनुमान घाटवा श्री राम के आशीष
लाल लाल झंडा और नॉन स्टॉप चालीसा
लाल लाल झंडा और नॉन स्टॉप चालीसा लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा जय हो लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा
पीले पीले फूलवा बने मैया सारी
पीले पीले फूलवा बन्नी मैया सारी
टिम टिम बरेला हजारों दिया बहेला
टिम टिम बरेला हजारों दिया बहेला लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा
लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा
लवली गंगा धारा माई गंगा धारा बोलिए गंगा मैया की जय हर हर महादेव. Our next offering is dedicated to some very special persons in our mandir this morning. So we want to welcome the Ravels visiting us from Orlando. Sujit, who is like a younger brother to me, and he is the dear son of our Guru Mataji and Raviji. And I think for them, the more important visitors are the two charming grandsons, Nikhil and Roshan. So very tall and handsome, and now the younger brother is taller than the bigger brother, so even when they came nearby, I mistook one for the other. So we are so happy to have you here visiting after such a long time, and I know Raviji and our dear Guru Mata are very, very happy to have you home for a few days. And Harsha, we are missing you to complete the family. We pray Ganga Mata's abundant blessings on all of you, not just the immediate family, but all of the extended family. So we join together to praise Ganga Mata and to offer this bhajan as a special blessing for all of you. So it's a simple, traditional bhajan, but quite beautiful. And it's a celebration of the bounty and beauty of nature and the entire cosmos. It says, "O Ganga Ma, you are flowing by so gracefully," and Ganga is flowing from Swarg right now, and in the place here, so wonderful. So you are on one side, O Ganga Mata, and Yamuna is on the other side, and in the middle is Saraswati. Then in the next verse, the moon is on one side, and the sun is on the other. And in the middle are the beautiful twinkling stars. The bale tree is on one side, and the chameli on the other side. And there in the middle is a very laden banana tree. And then it describes beautifully, Sri Ram is on one side, Bhaya Lakshman is on the other side, and Sita Devi is in the middle, and together they are doing their work, they are doing their duties. Ganga Dhaaraa, Bahela Bahela. The lyrics will come up on screen. You can follow simple words and sing along with us. Ganga Dhaaraa, Bahela Bahela. Ganga Dhaaraa, Bahela Bahela. Ganga Dhaaraa, Bahela Bahela.
Ganga Dhaaraa bahela bahela.
Bahela 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 Bahela. Bahela 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 Bahela. Ganga Dhaaraa, Bahela Bahela. Mahadev. So we are going to share some information, and embedded in the information we are sharing are important messages and instructions for us. So Ganga Dhaaraa occurs on the Dashami Tithi of the bright fortnight of the month of Jyeshtha. So we are in the Hindu calendar month of Jyeshtha, and this is usually mid-May to mid-June. Now, we usually, for public participation, as you would all know, whenever a sacred event comes or falls during the week, we will celebrate and have that observation in a grand way this Sunday or the weekend right after. But this year, there is no big public event on Sunday coming. Now, Ganga Dhaaraa, you'll hear several words: Ganga Dhaaraa, Ganga Dashahara, Ganga Dashahara, even Ganga Avatarana. It is centered on both the sacred river, Ganga, and on Ganga Devi herself. And it celebrates the descent, the coming of Ganga from Swarga, from the celestial regions to earth. Now, we look at the Katha briefly just now, after we chant 3 verses of the Ganga stotram composed by Adi Shankaracharya. Because any satsang or celebration of Ganga Dhaaraa would not be complete for us without chanting this. And it actually narrates the entire Katha of Ganga Dashahara, of Ganga Avatar, and all the blessings that are potential in worship and devotion to Ganga Devi. So this is what we are chanting, just 3 verses, and you can all join in the vibrant refrain after each verse. Jai Jai Gange, what's that? Jai Jai Gange, Jaya Hara Gange. जोर से और प्रेम से, okay? Everyone together.
देवी सुरेश्वरी भगवती गंगे, त्रिभुवन तारिणी तरल तरंगे, शंकर मौली विहारिणी बिंबले, मम मतिरासां तव पर कमले, भागीरथी सुखदायिनी माता, तव जल महिमा निगमे ख्याता, नाहं जाने तव महिमानं, पाहि कृपामयि माम अज्ञानं। जय जय गंगे जय हर गंगे, 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 जय जय गंगे जय हर गंगे। हरि पर पार्य तरंगिणी गंगे, हिम विरुमुक्ता धवल तरंगे, दूरी कुरु मम दुष्कृति भारं, कुरु कृपया भव सागर पारं, तव जलममलं येन निपीतं, परम परम खलु तेन गृहीतं, मातर गंगे त्वय्यो भक्त, किल तं द्रष्टुं नयमः शक्त। जय जय गंगे जय हर गंगे, 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 जय जय गंगे जय हर गंगे। पतितो धारिणि जाह्नवी गंगे, खंडित गिरिवर मंडित भंगे, भीष्म जननी हे मुनिवर कन्ये, पतित निवारिणि त्रिभुवन धन्ये, तल्पलतामिव फलदां लोके, प्रणमति यः त्वां न पतति शोके, पारावार विहारिणि गंगे, विमुख युवति कृत तरलापांगे। जय
So I am only extracting certain aspects of the Katha of the Bhagirathi Katha, but I encourage you to research and read some more about it, read some more of the details, because we are here in Satsang only for about an hour, so I'm not going through full details. So Ganga Mata descended and came to this earth as a sanctifying energy, as a rejuvenator, as a freedom power, a bandha vimochana. And this can be a truly empowering occasion for us because it is very multi-layered, multi-dimensional, with self-purification at the core. But to experience all of this, there has to be tapas. There has to be something that is given from our own selves. And at the center of the Katha, Ganga Ji Katha, Bhagirat Katha, is Bhagirath's tapas. It is not possible to truly experience Ganga without some measure of penance and sacrifice. Now, how we understand tapas and penance and sacrifice and sadhana and discipline, and that needs a whole session by itself. So these things will come up from time to time and we'll address it. Now, it's very interesting, Bhagirath, who was responsible for bringing the Ganga to us. Do you know that he was an ancestor of whom? Those of you who are here. Bhagirath was an ancestor of whom? Anyone knows? We did it before, we did it last year and the year before. This is why we need repetition of Bhagwan Sri Rama. Bhagwan Sri Rama. He belonged to the Ikshvaku lineage, the Ikshvaku, the Surya Vamshi dynasty, and this linkage brings an even deeper connection to us, to this Katha. Now, there were certain doubts in his mind which he had addressed to his mother and the Guru, and he was deeply troubled to learn of the plight of his own ancestors who were destroyed. They were burnt to ashes by Kapil Muni, okay? Because of their own misunderstanding, whatever, there are several reasons for that. But what bothered Bhagirath was that their shraddha, all the range of rituals for their sadgati, it was not done. It was not complete. So that state of their existence, it was compromised. And so Bhagirath transferred his kingly duties, the duties of the kingdom, the administration, to the capable ministers. And on the advice of his guru, he began very intense tapas to please Ganga Mata, because she has the power to sanctify, and so to secure the release of his ancestors, the well-being, the freedom from whatever bondage that existed, and from the curse of Kapil Muni, he engaged in this intense tapas. And after a long time had passed, you know how we are impatient? We want everything what? Quick. This morning someone asked me, Geeta ji, is there any instant coffee? Right? We want everything quick, fast, instant. That's what's happening to us now. So endurance, patience, working constantly to achieve and to accomplish our goals and so on, there's a level of what? Impatience. But Bhagirathi teaches us about what? Patience and endurance. Okay? So after a long tapas, Ganga Devi appeared. She was very pleased and she said, well, I can fulfill your wishes, but there's only one who can withstand the force and the impact of my power, because if I come like this and descend on the earth will not be able to bear this force, this power. So she advised Bhagirath, you must now do tapas to Bhagwan Shiva, Jai Bhagwan, more tapas again, all right? But the plight of his ancestors, it troubled him deeply. And so he engaged in tapas to Bhagwan Shankar, Bhagwan Shiva. After a long time, the desired boon was granted. And we all know Bhagwan Shankar described as Ganga Dhaaraa. So he allowed and received the Ganga to flow onto his jata and then onto the earth. And through the sanctifying waters of the Ganga, the Pitris of Bhagiratha were freed from bondage. They were freed from any state of suffering. So simple questions. What tapas are you engaged in, if any, to satiate or to please, to make your ancestors, your own pitris, proud and happy? What sacrifices and disciplines, what are we doing in their honor to continue their legacy? And you see, Ganga Dhaaraa is always very timely because it usually falls not long after. What did we just have last weekend? When we talked about ancestors and pitris. Indian Arrival Day. So many activities during the course of the month. So as soon as Indian Arrival Day is over, just a few days after will come Ganga Dhaaraa. And it comes as a good reminder. At this time when we reflect on our own Jahaji Pitris, let us commit to do right by them. Now Ganga Dhaaraa is timely today especially for another reason. Because today is World Environment Day. The 5th of June every year is World Environment Day. So when is World Environment Day for Hindus?
Every day.
It's supposed to be every day. Our Sanatana civilization didn't need a World Environment Day because the environment was an integral part of the life of our ancestors and our civilization. But we, the descendants, we have faltered and we continue to falter often in this regard. Now, there are many who have not fully grasped the teachings of our Shastras and our dharmic civilization in relation to the environment. It is a mind-blowing thing if you read and you research. This is why learning about our dharmic heritage is so important. And I am saying this because I remember being on a panel on climate change and sharing what Sanatan Dharma says about the environment and what comments can we make about climate change. And I shared about 4 or 5 verses from our Shastras and people were just so surprised. Not just non-Hindus, Hindus themselves. So we ourselves don't know. This is why one such verse actually is like our anthem mantra for Ganga Dhaaraa, and the lyrics will come up on the screen from the Manu Smriti. Every year we chant this and we share this. Napsu mutram purisham va sthivanam va samutsrijet amedhya liptam anyadva lohitam va vishani va. What is the instruction? Never throw these items into the water, into the rivers, into the seas. Never dump it anywhere. Urine, feces, spit, substances that carry impurities, poisonous substances, and non-biodegradable matter. This is our civilization speaking to us. So every moment of our lives, we are supposed to be aware of all the environmental issues and concerns. So Ganga Dhaaraa is only one of many Hindu traditions, activities, events that teach us about environmental responsibility. Only last week, I was talking to an economist who was preparing a talk for Indian Arrival Day. So he had called just to share some ideas. And I was telling him, do you know our Jahaji ancestors were excellent economists? I was telling him that. They were also environmentalists because they understood about sustainable development. They understood about sustainable living, about harmonious living. And all of us, we do puja. If you see and you observe closely puja, which is one of our most common practices in every home, puja is a whole environmental commentary from beginning to end. But we miss it, so we diss it. See that? Our mantra, when we are doing puja here at the Kendra, we touch the Vedi, the place of worship, and we chant, Iyam Vedi Paro Antaha Prithivya Ayam Yajno Bhuvanasya Nabhi Ayam Yajno Bhuvanasya Nabhi. Boliye Dharti Mata ki Jai. We prepare the Vedi, the little space of worship. But we acknowledge that my Vedi, it ends where? It extends. It's not confined. My place of worship, it extends to the entire cosmos, to the entire creation. This is why in puja you see we have dharti pranam, the use of water, of plants, of flowers, of grains, of gobar. All of these things. And there is a plant for each deity. Have you all thought of all of this? See how the environment is linked to everything that we do. Nature, plants are given due respect. There are animals and birds, they are given due respect because they have a pride of place with all our Devis and Devtas, as Vahans also. Who is the Vahan of Ganga Mata? As alligator Makar. Yes, someone was asking the other day, which Devi is this? And I said, anytime you see the Devi on the alligator, it means that is Ganga. So when we say we are Sanatanas, we are Hindu, it is to acknowledge all of these dharmic values and principles, because any act of worship, it becomes sacrilege if it is inconsiderate and disrespectful and destructive of the environment in any way. And Ganga Dhaaraa provides the perfect platform for us to highlight these issues and disseminate the necessary information. This is why the underlying theme of Ganga Dhaaraa is the interconnectedness of man, nature, and God. And we explore all of this under a wider theme, ecology in theology. Now we have been learning a mantra that encapsulates all of this. Which mantra is that? Somebody put their hands out like this already. I'll ask them to bring it up on the screen because we are chanting this every week, and you can focus on Bhavani Ji to be able to follow. Please chant after me, follow the lyrics on screen, and get into the act of doing that which is required, speaking to yourself, speaking to your hands, bowing to the earth, so that you condition yourself to think and to understand the meaning of the mantra. Repeat after me. Karagre vasate Lakshmi. Bolo. कर मध्ये सरस्वती कर मूले तु गोविन्दः प्रभाते कर दर्शनम् समुद्रवसने देवी पर्वतस्थन्न मण्डले विष्णुपत्नी नमस्तुभ्यं Padasparsham Shamasva Me. बोलिए धरती माता की जय, गंगा माता की जय, हर हर महादेव. So just to share a little bit of information about our Ganga Dhaaraa Tirath here in Trinidad. And again, this is reminders for all those who are accustomed to going there and for those who are viewing and listening for the first time. So Ganga Dhaaraa, Ganga Dashahara, Ganga Dhaaraa, Ganga Dhaaraa, this event, it was brought to this region by our Jahaji ancestors who came from India. And several elders, they have only childhood recollections of Ganga Dhaaraa, that they have parents and their Aji, Aja, Nani, Nana doing some type of ritual by the river. So just childhood recollections. So it was lost for many decades until 1993. Through Raviji's vision and through the work of the Kendra, it was reintroduced locally at the Ganga Dhaaraa in Blanchy Shares in our northern range here in Trinidad. Very beautiful place. So the Ganga Dhaaraa Tirath was established at this pristine, beautiful location on the Blanchy Shares Road. And the site itself, it was revealed. You know, it was not something that you go searching, that you go to find. It was revealed, so it was more like a divine encounter than it was a discovery. And once the place was found, because of the location, because of the beauty, and a range of other issues, there was no turning away. So Ganga Dhaaraa Tirath was very consciously established in that place, in Blanchy Shares, in the Northern Range, and there has been gradual development from since 1993. So 2003, Siromaniji, 3 decades, 30 years of Ganga Dhaaraa next year, and hopefully we can get back to some measure of regular celebration there. So the rules, many rules and guidelines were enforced to maintain the space, to manage the space, because when we go somewhere and take this as a discipline, especially when you venture out to places of recreation, you must leave it better than you found it. And this has been the guiding principle for Ganga Dhaaraa. Don't leave your garbage. Even if you see someone has left something, you pick it up. The entire place must be better than when we left it. And this is why we are guided by that mantra that we shared from the Manu Smriti. No disturbance of the ambience. So why the name Ganga Dhaaraa? What does Ganga Dhaaraa mean? Ganga we know. Dhara means flow. Where the flow of Ganga exists. The Ganga actually flows there. Because you might be surprised to learn that an elaborate consecration, puja, was done in 1996, where water and dust from many places, sacred places of Tirath in India, they were collected, brought here, and installed in the bedrock there in the river at a spot we have named Kapil Prayag. Do you remember who is Kapil? Kapil is Kapil Muni from the Katha. And at that spot, interestingly, there are 3 streams that converge. Very ideal and very beautiful. And just as along the banks of the Ganga in India and other sacred rivers in India, you have ghats that exist, that have been set up and constructed because of the history and the activities that go on at that place. They are named accordingly. Like I was so fortunate to have stayed at Tulsi Ghat, where Tulsidas Baba lived and wrote Hanuman Chalisa and Ramcharitmanas and so on. We sang about some of the ghats we have along our Ganga Dhaaraa here in one of the songs, lovely Ganga Dhaaraa. Kailash Ghat, where there's chanting of Bhagavad Gita, Ganga Pravesh, where everyone enters the river, the Tulsi Ghat, the main hub, Ardhanarishwar, Hanuman Ghat, Trinidadishwar, Mahadeva Baba Ghat, Visarjan Ghat. So pilgrims, those who come, there are many options for spaces and ceremonies according to one's inclination. And all of this is to help us through our own tapas. It is to help us to polish, to refine, to purify, to sanctify our minds so that we can connect with divinity. Connecting with divinity, what? It is something that what happens outside, yes, but the real connection, it's supposed to be what? Something that happens inside. Now this is why snan is an important sadhana. Well, snan for me in Ganga Dhaaraa is a good chirke, because the water is always so cold, very cold, so pure, so refreshing, you know. So snan, like with Kartik and many of the river water festivals and so on, taking that bath is very important. It is the cleansing ritual. But this cleansing is not just about the physical body. There should be that mental washing of all negativity and impurities in our minds, and a commitment to lift ourselves to a better state, a better condition. This is why very beautiful mantra that describes what is Tirat. It instructs us. Satyam tirtham kshama tirtham tirtham indriya nigraha sarva bhuta daya tirtham tirthanam satyavadita jnana tirtham tapas tirtham kathitam sapta tirthakam sarva bhuta daya tirtham Vishuddha manaso matam nato yaputa dehasya snanam ityabhidhiyate sasnato yasya vaipunsaha Vishuddha manaso matam. Boliye Ganga Mata ki jai. This describes what is real tirat. What is real snan. When there is truth. So remember, cleansing. It's a mental condition. Tirat is about truth. Tirat is kshama. It's forgiveness. Tirat is discipline. Indriya nigraha. Self-control. Sarva bhuta daya tirtham. Compassion to all living beings is tirat. Jnana tirtham. Pursuing knowledge is tirat. Satya tirtham. Truth and honesty. And then tapas. Tapahas we have spoken about. Penance, sacrifice. It says in the mantra, these are the 7 tirats to take. Immersing one's physical body in water is not bath in the real sense of tirat. One whose mind has been purified by these 7 tirats has indeed truly taken what? Ganga Snan. How beautiful. This is why introspection, the spiritual discourse, katha, pravachan, discipline, attitude, social and environmental responsibility, dharmic heritage and such values are all embedded in Ganga Dhaaraa. So after listening to all that we have shared, and like I said, there is a lot to share. There are so many dimensions, so many levels. This is enough for this morning. Hopefully, to help you appreciate and to understand what Ganga Dhara is about, what our Sanatan civilization teaches us, and what are our responsibilities. So while we reflect on this, we will have the opportunity to offer Aarti and the beautiful buttercup, the flowers, to Ganga Ma. As we will join in Aarti, each will we have that clip? So we will share a video clip from a few years ago, and then you can also come and do your Aarti offering as we will close off this morning. So the lyrics will come up on screen after the video clip, right? Okay, so we join. Please stand, everyone.
आरती दिया बराती या बराती गंगा की आरती दिया बराती तिमिर तिमिर परेला दिया की बाती तिमिर तिमिर परेला दिया की बाती आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा आरती जय माँ भक्तन की थाली never ever empty भक्तन की थाली never ever खाली we bring it Nama you give the bhakti we bring it Nama you give the bhakti आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा आरती जय माँ भक्तन की थाली never ever empty भक्तन की थाली never ever खाली we bring tulsi ma you give the shakti we bring tulsi ma you give the shakti आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा आरती जय माँ थाली तो थाली नहीं this is my body थाली तो थाली नहीं this is my body make it so shiny माँ मांझे my थाली make it so shiny माँ with गंगा पानी आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा आरती जय माँ ये तो क्षमा नहीं this is my आत्मा ये तो क्षमा नहीं this is my आत्मा आगे कम तो पानी दे दो मेरी माँ शांति आगे कम तो पानी ले लो मेरी माँ आरती आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा आरती जय ये तो क्षमा नहीं this is my आत्मा
ये तो क्षमा नहीं, this is my आत्मा.
ये तो क्षमा नहीं this is my आत्मा
ये तो क्षमा नहीं, this is my आत्मा.
आगे कम तो पानी दे दो मेरी माँ शांति
आगे कम तो पानी दे मेरी माँ शांति.
आगे कम तो पानी ले लो मेरी माँ आरती
आगे कम तो पानी ले लो मेरी माँ आरती.
आरती
जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया आरती. जय माँ ओ
गंगाधारा आरती जय माँ। गंगा की आरती दिया बराती,
गंगा की आरती दिया बराती,
गंगा की आरती दिया बराती,
गंगा की आरती दिया बराती।
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती।
आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया, आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा, आरती जय माँ। गंगा की आरती दिया बराती,
गंगा की आरती दिया बराती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती,
तिमिर तिमिर बरेला दिया की बाती।
आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया, आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा, आरती जय माँ। ये तो शम्मा नहीं, दिस इज माय आत्मा,
ये तो क्षमा नहीं, दिस इज माय आत्मा,
ये तो शम्मा नहीं, दिस इज माय आत्मा।
ये तो क्षमा नहीं, दिस इज माय आत्मा।
आगे कम तो पानी दे दो मेरी माँ शांति,
आगे कम तो पानी दे दो मेरी माँ शांति,
आगे कम तो पानी ले लो मेरी माँ आरती,
आगे कम तो पानी ले लो मेरी माँ आरती।
आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा, आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा मैया, आरती जय माँ ओ गंगा धारा, आरती जय माँ।
1 minute chanting in praise of Bhagwan Shankar. O Har Har Mahadev Gange Kashi Vishwanath Shambho.
ओ हर हर महादेव गंगे काशी विश्वनाथ शंभो,
O Har Har Mahadev Gange, O Har Har
महादेव गंगे,
O Har Har Mahadev Gange,
ओ हर हर महादेव गंगे,
Kashi Vishwanath Shambho,
काशी विश्वनाथ शंभो,
Kashi Vishwanath Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath Shambho, Kashi Vishwanath
शंभो।
We join in closing mantras as we pray for everyone and everything. Om Durjano Sajjano Bhuyat Sajjana Shantimapnuyat Shanto Musheta Bandhebhyo Muktasyanyan Vimochayet Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahi Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ॐ द्यौ शान्तिरन्तरिक्षगुं शान्ति पृथिवी शान्तिरापः शान्तिर् औषधय शान्तिर्वनस्पतय शान्तिर्विश्वे देवा शान्तिर्ब्रह्म शान्ति सर्वगुं शान्ति शान्तिरेव शान्ति सामा शान्तिरेधि ॐ शान्ति 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 हरिः ओम् जग प्रणाम सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी करऊ प्रणाम जो जग पानी सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी करऊ प्रणाम जो जग पानी जय श्री राम जयकार chant powerfully प्रेम से और जोर से बोलिए गजानन स्वामी की श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की उमापति महादेव की जगदम्बे माता की गंगा माता की पवन सुत हनुमान की सियापति रामचंद्र की गोस्वामी तुलसीदास की ट्रिनिडाद और टोबैगो देश की बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय 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 सीताराम. Please take your seats everyone. So just closing announcements, and it is mainly about next week. So as I mentioned, we have to continue to be very COVID safe as much as possible. So on Sunday morning, next Sunday, which would be the day when we would have all gone to observe Ganga Dhaaraa, only a small group of organizers, those belonging to the different organizations who are part of the entire Ganga Dhaaraa Tirath, and a few volunteers will be going to do Ganga Dhaaraa, just a small group. So it is not open for wide public participation this year. What we are advising, well, you have two options. Thursday is the actual day of Ganga Dhaaraa, and then there is Sunday. Make sure you engage in some type of tapas on that day. Now, we will not be having live satsang, but we will have a couple of the satsangs from last year, year before, some of our Ganga Dhaaraa features being put on Sunday morning. So you can still join us. It's very difficult. We don't get good reception there. But if it becomes at all possible, we will send a notice if we can broadcast something from there in the river. So we are asking you to please understand this and to cooperate with us to ensure we continue to maintain a safe community as much as possible. And you know, our pujas, all our traditions, especially like Phagwa and Ganga Dhaaraa, they are so contact oriented, and we are in water. So we have to be very, very careful, and we look forward to a grand year next year for our 30th anniversary. So look out for the satsang replays, as I said, on Sunday morning. So we want to thank you for joining us this morning. Very rainy. Those of you who are viewing here at home in Trinidad, be very careful, keep warm, keep safe, and we look forward to you joining us again for satsang on Sunday morning for the replays. And then someone sent a note, the following Sunday is going to be Father's Day. So we'll have to make sure we organize. So we look forward to you all joining us again. Be safe, everyone. Have a blessed and productive week. Namaskar.